What's up, everybody? This is Rob of Archangel Inc., www.archangelinc.com, and in this video, I want to talk about some breaking news just coming out, something that a lot of people have been wondering about and thinking would happen at some point. They have finally announced that CreateSpace and KDP Print are going to be merging. And I've done a couple of videos in the past, I'll link them down below, about KDP Print and CreateSpace and Ingram Spark and the other print-on-demand providers. But the short of it is now CreateSpace and KDP Print are going to be one. They are basically phasing out CreateSpace, and all of the books that you publish are going to be under the KDP Dashboard, and there are probably going to be some pros and cons. I will include a link to their official site down below, and you can see a little information. They have guides on tips and guidelines on how to make the transition, what to expect, how you can prepare for it, and all of that. But wanted to give a heads up that this is forthcoming, and if you have projects on CreateSpace, as many of the folks that we work with do, and we've been recommending for the last several years, then there is a migration in place for KDP Print that we're all going to have to be subject to. And it looks like they've done some things to, again, make it a little bit easier. A lot of authors are reporting that it's just a matter of a handful of clicks and migrating that information over. So hopefully it ends up being fairly smooth for the lion's share of authors. But there are other folks out there who have many books, sometimes dozens, hundreds of books. And for them, the migration process could be a little bit more complicated and more involved. What are the consequences of all of this? What is going to happen? It's not entirely clear. I know that a number of the folks that we've been working with have begun the migration over to Ingram Spark, both because of sometimes better print quality, but also because of the wider access and distribution channels that they make books available to, especially internationally. There are many other distributors that Ingram Spark works with that, at least as of press time, CreateSpace/KDP Print has not made available. So we'll see what happens. I am ambivalent about it. I am a little bit disappointed just because I think that, the system worked pretty well. I think CreateSpace was actually a pretty well-run organization. I was able to get folks on the phone periodically when there are issues that came up and actually speak to people, send out emails to them, whereas I know that Kindle Direct Publishing, they can be a little bit more opaque. There have been instances where I send out emails, there's a question or a concern, and you'll get sort of a form response, and maybe it takes 2 or 3 or more emails, trying to rephrase your question or rephrase your concern before somebody actually, it would seem, looks at it and gives you a proper customized response for your individual circumstances. So I'm hoping that does not end up being the case, that actually the CreateSpace team comes over in the migration, that we're able to actually get a hold of them. I know once I was able to, I had an event and I had a number of books that I needed to deliver on time, and so I reached out to them and said, hey, I know that it was this window. I just want to double check and make sure that they are going to arrive for sure within that, whatever it was, 7 to 10 business days. And they were very responsive and made sure that it got to me on time. So super cool on CreateSpace's account. We'll see if KDP Print is as good. I've also heard from a number of authors that KDP Print is a little bit less attentive when it comes to packaging, especially if you order multiple proof copies. They will send books in big padded bubble envelopes instead of boxes with some additional padding in there, and so corners can end up getting a little bit dinged and damaged in transit, and there's just a little bit less attention to detail and that kind of thing. I know that for Amazon distribution in general, time is of the essence, especially for Prime deliveries, and so a lot of times efficiency trumps care and attention to packaging and that kind of thing. So hopefully they figure out those details. To their credit, it does seem as if KDP Print has been responsive, that they are interested in providing a good experience to their users. And so over time, hopefully a lot of those things will change. One other thing I will mention is many of the concerns that I listed with KDP Print when it was still in beta format were things like you're not able to import your own ISBN and have your own imprint. It seems that that's changed. expanded distribution is now more accessible. You're able to make your book available in other platforms in other countries. Again, maybe not as wide as with Ingram Spark, as I mentioned earlier, but some of those concerns are allayed. Also having author copies and proof copies and that kind of thing. It seems like a lot of those concerns have been addressed. So hopefully this migration ends up being pretty smooth and seamless. We will continue to keep an eye on it, and feel free to answer or ask any questions. I'll do my best to answer them and continue to pay attention, research, figure out what's happening. Hopefully for the authors that are out there that are currently on CreateSpace, the migration will go relatively smoothly and relatively simply. But we'll see. Feel free to leave your comments, questions, thoughts down below. Are you happy? Are you excited? Did you see the writing on the wall? Are you planning to move over to Ingram Spark or other distribution options? You know, what's your overall sentiment? I'd love to hear from you. So again, leave some comments down below. This is Rob Archangel of archangelinc.com, and I will see you folks next time.